Hey guys, in today's video we will continue watching our story called The Legend of Super Saiyan Yamoshi. The 6th universe was invaded by Yamoshi, who's bringing great chaos, and he needs to be stopped. And according to Whis, a second legend will appear. Who will he be? You'll see now, when this return of the legend from the past, the return of the first Saiyan to become a god, the return of Yamoshi. But before we start watching this amazing story, you shouldn't forget to hit the like button and comment on the story. Well, if you're already done, then grab your popcorn bucket and your soda, and let's follow this amazing story. So here we go. On the planet Sadala in Universe 6. Currently in the 6th universe, more precisely on the planet Sadala, the planet of the Saiyans, it was possible to see Yamoshi in his divine form stepping on the face of Kefla, who was transformed into a Super Saiyan. But even with the power, Kefla was not able to get out from under the Yamoshi's foot, and every moment seemed to be increasing the pressure exerted on the Saiyan's face. Kefla thought, how is this guy so strong? Even though I used fusion and transformed into Super Saiyan, I'm not able to get out from under this guy's foot. And this old man transformation is very similar to the transformation Son Goku used during the Tournament of Power. This must be the transformation of Super Saiyan God, thought Kefla, as her face was being forced to the ground and she wasn't able to leave that place with her current power. Kefla thought, since the Tournament of Power, I didn't imagine that I would have to fight using my full power, let alone fusion. But this guy is very strong, so I'm going to use my full power and defeat him, showing that the Saiyans of 6th universe are superior to those of the 7th. Though the woman making her power increase, something that made Yamoshi look at her with interest, and seeing that, he smiled and jumped back, thus letting Kefla free. Yamoshi said, so you can become even stronger than you are now. Fortunate. I was already thinking that you guys were so weak that you wouldn't make me fight using a small portion of my power, said the Saiyan before reverting to his normal Super Saiyan form, something that confused Kefla. Kefla said, why did he go back to his normal Super Saiyan form? Asked the Saiyan to Yamoshi, who just gave a smile. Yamoshi said, I took the liberty of going back to this form because it is weaker than my divine form, and I'm learning to control this Super Saiyan transformation, and from what I think, it has an evolution, and I'm wanting to learn to use these new transformations that you call Super Saiyan 1 and 2 and so on. Yamoshi said while looking at Kefla, who ended up gaining a look of irritation at the moment. Kefla said, are you trying to say that you went back to a weaker form just to face me? Are you calling me weak by any chance? Said the angry woman while looking at Yamoshi, who just laughed at her. Yamoshi said, I'm not calling you weak. You are weak, and that's an undeniable fact, girl. And for being a merciful god, I'm giving you a chance to face me, and so you have one more chance to fight me. Yamoshi spoke with an arrogant and proud smile, and was wasting all his arrogance like a Saiyan, and like a mighty god that is. Kefla said, don't underestimate me, you damn, screaming, the woman raising her power, creating a crater where she was, and with that a large amount of dust rose and surrounded the place, preventing Yamoshi from seeing her. Yamoshi just kept looking at the place where Kefla was before, but soon the Saiyan raises his fist to defend himself from a flying kick made by Kefla that now showed that he had transformed into his Super Saiyan 2 form, something that Yamoshi was happy with to see, because that would be his next step to becoming stronger. Kefla now with her transformation into a Super Saiyan 2 was much stronger than before, and Yamoshi being in her normal Super Saiyan transformation was weaker than before. Kefla taking advantage of the fact that Yamoshi had used a great part of her strength to hold her attack. She took advantage of it and fixed a knee in the side of the Saiyan's face, sending him away. Yamoshi, after receiving such an attack from Kefla, was thrown a few meters away from the girl, who, seeing that Yamoshi would regain her balance, advanced again against Yamoshi, who this time managed to dodge and punch Kefla's left cheek. Now both were close enough to each other, and so they both started an exchange of punches and kicks. Yamoshi was losing because he received more punches than he hit, but with each punch he received, he got more excited. Yamoshi thought, this is what I want. I want someone to push me to my limits, so I can go beyond them, and this battle is giving me something I really want. So hit me more, Kefla, because the more you hit me, the more you corner me, the stronger I can become, and so during this fight, I can evolve and transform into a Super Saiyan 2. Yamoshi thought as he felt several punches from Kefla hitting him, making him spit blood. But at the same time, he felt his energy growing inside him, wanting to free himself. Kefla, who was beating Yamoshi, was very excited to see Yamoshi's half-deformed face, so the same, already wanting to end it all. She tries to eliminate Yamoshi at that same moment. Kefla punches Yamoshi in the abdomen that looked like it would go through his body, making him vomit a large amount of blood. And then she punched the Saiyan on the chin, making him take his feet off the ground and fly to the skies where Kefla appeared, and with a smile on her face. Then Kefla made her final attack, joining Kale's green energy and Kefla's red energy, performing an attack, resembling an energy beam, being the same attack she had used against Son Goku, who was using his Ultra Instinct during the Tournament of Power. That was the sky of the planet Sadala shown, and a union of colors being green and red that was caused by Kefla's attack that hit Yamoshi at close range and destroyed almost everything in that place. Kefla, thinking she had finally defeated Yamoshi, she flew towards Kaba, who was in a considerably safe space for him not to die during the combat between her and Yamoshi. Kefla said, "Hey Kaba, it's time to wake up." Kefla said, giving Kaba some light slaps on the face so he would wake up, and it didn't take long for him to wake up. Kaba said, "If I'm still alive and you're still transformed, I'd say the battle is over, and apparently you ended up winning. Right, Kefla?" asked the Saiyan to Kefla, who just smiled and showed her proud smile. Kefla said, "But of course I won. Did you have any doubts that I would be defeated by that old idiot and showy Yamoshi?" said Kefla, while looking at Kaba, who felt a strange thing looked at a destroyed mountain, and Kefla did the same thing. In the destroyed mountain, it was possible to see that it started to shake, and the stones started to fall, until suddenly an explosion occurs. In that place, destroying some of the stones, generating a lot of dust, and from that same dust it was possible to see Yamoshi leaving with no wounds on his body that had been caused by Kefla. Something that made Kaba and Kefla look confused and annoyed at Yamoshi still being alive. Yamoshi said, "I must admit, you are very strong, and thanks to that I was able to evolve again and reach another level of power. So now behold my new form," said Yamoshi, releasing a large amount of energy, making the whole place feel heavier as the skies turned black and lightning started to fall, creating several craters all over the place. Kefla said, "What the heck is this? This guy's power is increasing even more than before. He's not as strong as he is using his Super Saiyan God transformation, but even so this guy is getting even stronger than he already is." Speaking of that, the woman, as she felt Yamoshi's incredible power increasing at an impressive and incredibly overwhelming speed, Kaba spoke. "From the way his energy is behaving, I would say he's evolving and awakening the power of Super Saiyan 2. Damn, he's already so strong with just the power of the normal Super Saiyan. Imagine him with the power of Super Saiyan 2. He will become a real monster," said the boy while looking at Yamoshi, and then Kefla, and then both Saiyans looked at Yamoshi. Yamoshi, who was still in the same place raising his power, suddenly stops doing that. He looks at Kaba and Kefla, and he gives a big smile before releasing a big blast of energy all over the place. An explosion so big, it could be compared to a nuclear bomb explosion. And luckily Kaba and Kefla, using their ability to fly, managed to get out of the place and saw the big explosion going to the skies, making the clouds turn black and red. Kaba spoke. "I've never seen so much power released at once. If he did that near the city, all the inhabitants would be killed instantly. So we can't let him get anywhere near the city," said the Saiyan, worried about what could happen if that same explosion happened in the city, and the results it could cause. Yamoshi said, "So you better defeat me fast, or if not, it won't just be the city that will be destroyed, but this whole planet." No, even better. I will destroy all the planets of the 6th universe," said Yamoshi, appearing on the spot, floating over the two Saiyans, who were very angry at what he had just said. Currently still on the planet of Sadala, it was possible to see Kefla next to Kaba, both transformed into Super Saiyan 2, and above them was Yamoshi, who was also transformed into the Super Saiyan 2. He had just learned to transform. Kefla and Kaba, who were facing Yamoshi, were worried about the new level of power that Yamoshi had just gained from unleashing this transformation into a Super Saiyan 2. Kefla said, "What the hell? This guy's power seems to only increase every second, and now with him, he can also transform into Super Saiyan 2, and that only makes him even more dangerous. Besides, he can still turn into Super Saiyan God, and if that happens to both of us, we have no chance of surviving, Kaba," said the woman while looking at her fellow Saiyan, who was beside her in the fighting stance. Kaba said, I know that, Kefla, but now you're the only one who can face him. I won't be able to face him because I'll just be dead weight for you, the Saiyan said with a little panting as he looked at Kefla and then at Yamoshi. Kefla said, "Don't think that way, Kaba. You're one of the strongest, if not the strongest Saiyan in our universe. And even though Caulifla doesn't want to admit it, she considers you as someone stronger than she is. She's always thought that since the Tournament of Power, you always underestimate yourself, Kaba," said Kefla, putting away her side and revealing that she always thought Kaba was strong. Yamoshi said, "Wow, how exciting. Will you want to use the power of friendship and love to defeat me? Ha ha ha, come fight me soon," said Yamoshi while facing both Saiyans with a certain disgust and little anger while looking at Kaba. Yamoshi said, "Kaba, you said it would be dead weight for her, but your friend revealed that you have a hidden power within you, one that can make you the same level as Kefla, so wake up and use it, because if that doesn't happen, your friends are going to die," said Yamoshi as he looked at Kaba and then immediately threatened to take Kefla's life, who gritted her teeth because of the anger she was feeling towards Yamoshi. Kefla said, "Don't underestimate us, you damn 7th Universe Saiyan! Kaba, let's go together," said the woman while looking at her fellow Saiyan. Kaba said, "Yeah, let's finish this damn thing at once," said the boy, releasing some rays because of his rage against Yamoshi and himself, since he blamed himself for being so weak against that being. Yamoshi thought, "He's angry with me, and it makes the energy inside him get agitated. If I provoke him even more, he will release that energy, and it will make him stronger, and maybe he will gain a new transformation that surpasses the Super Saiyan transformation too. Let's see if he's as strong as I'm thinking," thought the Saiyan as he looked at Kaba, who had a lot of lightning surrounding him. Soon Kaba and Kefla, who were on the ground, took a leap towards Yamoshi, and because of the force created, it ended up destroying the ground, creating a small crater. Yamoshi, seeing such a scene, smiles and advances towards the two Saiyans who were heading towards him. Then quickly the battle between Kefla and Kaba against Yamoshi begins. Kaba, with his various martial arts skills, he started a combo of several strikes and several different types of martial arts. But what Kaba lacked was the strength to affect Yamoshi. Kefla had strength but didn't have the techniques enough, but Yamoshi had both technique and strength. Even though he was 2 against a Yamoshi, he was still superior to the two Saiyans, and for that reason he was easily beating them both. Something that was irritating Kaba and Kefla. But something in that battle was starting to change. Kaba, who had no strength before, was getting faster and stronger, and Kefla, who had no fighting style, was developing little by little. And at the same moment, a style appeared. Kefla and Kaba started to combine their blows, and suddenly ended up landing a blow on Yamoshi, and Kefla had landed a punch on Yamoshi's abdomen, and Kaba had elbowed him in the face. Yamoshi thought, "They're getting stronger than before. The blows that weren't hitting me before are now hitting me, and the blows that I felt pain now I'm feeling. This is getting better," thought the Saiyan while he was dodging and defending himself from Kefla and Kaba's attacks. Yamoshi, who so far was only dodging and defending himself from the blows of both Saiyans, finally decided to fight for real. So he held a fist of each of the Saiyans and pulled him close, where he shot 2 key spheres, one at each one of the Saiyans. Yamoshi, after firing the 2 key attacks at Kefla and Kaba, now quickly looked at one of the Saiyans, being this Kefla, who had recovered from Yamoshi's attack. When looking at the Saiyan, he smiled and looked slightly at Kaba, and in a short time it advanced towards Kefla. When Yamoshi got close to Kefla, he tried to punch Yamoshi in the face, but because he was too fast, Yamoshi dodged Kefla's punch and punched Kefla's abdomen, followed by several punches in the face of the Saiyan. To finish, Yamoshi kicked Kefla up and then down, which made Kefla hit her face very violently on the ground. Yamoshi said, "I thought you Saiyans from Universe 6 were stronger, but now I realize that you are weak as insects that crawl on the ground, and like an insect, you must kill ourselves by stepping on it until it stops breathing," said Yamoshi before starting to step on Kefla, making her cry out in pain. Kaba, who had finally recovered from Yamoshi's attack, when he saw the scene of Kefla being stepped on by Yamoshi, was filled with anger and advanced towards Yamoshi. But he didn't even care about that and started shooting some key orbs at Kaba, that it was slow to defend itself or dodge Yamoshi's attacks. Yamoshi said, "You are even weaker than this one. It makes me sad to see a Saiyan with great potential being so weak. said the Saiyan while stepping harder on Kefla's body, making her scream even more. Seeing that, Kaba gets even more angry, and Yamoshi realized this. He smiles and he stops stepping on Kefla, but at the time moment he didn't see that Yamoshi grabbed Kefla by the neck and lifted her up and looked at Kaba before starting to speak. Yamoshi said, "I'm wondering something. If I kill her, will you be stronger than before? Will you be able to evolve with her death? How about we test this theory?" said the Saiyan, squeezing Kefla's throat, making her moan in pain. Kaba spoke. "Please don't do this," said the Saiyan, begging for the life of his friend who was losing her life every second. Hearing such words, Yamoshi looked at him with disgust and revulsion, making him squeeze even more tightly, something that made Kaba let some tears come out of his eyes. Yamoshi said, "Saiyans don't cry. Saiyans make it happen. If you want her to live, then come help her and beg for her life. But you're too weak for that, and that's why she's going to die," said the Saiyan, squeezing Kefla's neck much harder than before. And then Kefla, who was struggling to try and escape from Yamoshi, when suddenly all Kaba could hear was a crack. This being the noise of Kefla's neck being broken in that way, killing her. After Yamoshi killed Kefla, the same, with a huge laugh, he releases Kefla's body that before it could fall to the ground, was kicked by Yamoshi, causing her to fall to Kaba's feet. Kaba said, "Kefla, you can't die. Stop pretending you're dead, you idiot," said the Saiyan while crying and shaking Kefla's already dead body, who had now returned to her base form and was still with the fusion. Yamoshi said, "It's not pretending, brat. She's dead, and it's your fault, because you were too weak to stop me," said the Saiyan, approaching Kaba, who had Kefla in his arms. Yamoshi, standing in front of Kaba, raised his hand and prepared a ki attack in his hand to kill Kaba. Yamoshi said, "I could kill you right here and right now, but that wouldn't be fun. So I think I'm going to destroy the rest of the Saiyans in this world. Since you are the strongest, the rest of the Saiyans in this universe shouldn't even tickle me," said the Saiyan, lowering his hand and returning to his base form. And then he began to float and went towards the city of the planet, prepared to destroy all of the Saiyans of the 6th universe. Currently in the 7th universe, more precisely on the planet of the God of Destruction, it was possible to see Beerus and Whis sitting at a large table, and in the center of it, there was a sphere made of crystal that was transmitting a video call with Champa and Vados being there respectively, the brother Beerus' twin and Whis' twin. Beerus spoke. "What was Champa?" "We're busy here, so be brief, because we don't have time to waste on your antics," said Beerus to his twin brother, who had a very serious face. Champa said, "I didn't come here to play games with you, Beerus. I want to know why a person from your universe, and what is he doing in Universe 6? The God of Destruction of Universe 6 spoke seriously to his brother, who upon hearing such words found it very strange. Beerus spoke. "What do you mean by that, Champa? I didn't send anyone from my universe to your universe. And what would be the reason for me to do that?" said Beerus, confused, and looked at his brother, and then Vados replied to him. Vados said, "Mr. Beerus, a few days ago in our universe there had been a distortion in reality and space-time. That day, Mr. Champa and I ended up feeling a great power in our universe. And a few hours ago, I managed to discover that the being that came to our universe came from the 7th universe, and that's why we thought you had sent him to our universe," said Universe 6's Anja seriously while looking at her brother and Universe 7 God of Destruction. Whis said, "How could that be possible? It is impossible for someone to travel between two universes without some kind of device that allows them to make such a journey," said the angel while looking at his twin sister, who soon began to speak. Vados said, "In reality, and quite possible, yes, my brother, a few hundred years ago, there was a magician who created a universal travel magic that allowed the individual to open a small gap between two universes. And this magician must have taught this same magic to other mages from other universes. So I would say that someone from your universe who has a very good magic ability knows this magic and used it to create a rift between the 6th and 7th universe. And with that the person came to our universe," said Vados while looking at his brother and the God of Destruction of that universe, both of whom had an expression of concern and confusion at the same time. Beerus said, "Whis, is there any mage with great power to do this magic, to open this passage between the two universes?" asked the God of Destruction to his angel, who then put his hand on his chin in a thoughtful way. Whis said, "No, there is no one who has such great power to do such magic. But there was a wizard a long time ago who had this power. He was called Bibidi, the father of Babidi, and he was responsible for controlling Majin Buu many years ago. But from what Mr. Goku had told me, he died a long time ago. Other than that, I don't think there is another mage with such power to do this," spoke Whis while looking at the god of destruction. Beerus said, "Unless he's not dead, and in fact he's been hiding all these years. Champa, I want to know how this being that appeared in your universe and what he looks like." The god of destruction asked seriously to his twin brother, who had the same expression. Champa said, "I don't know what he looks like, but I know he has great power. So great that it made me shiver. And even though he's not on the same level as a god of destruction, he still has a lot of power in his hands," said Champa while looking at his brother. Beerus said, "Hey Whis, you still haven't found Yamoshi's current whereabouts?" asked Beerus to his angel. Whis said, "No sir, it's been a few days since we've had a location of Yamoshi. His trail has completely disappeared, and I haven't felt any energy from him since that day," said the angel while looking at Beerus. Beerus said, "Firstly, the Yamoshi mysteriously disappeared. Secondly, the rift between two universes has been opened. And thirdly, a warrior strong enough to make a god of destruction afraid appears in the 6th universe. If this isn't a big coincidence, it can only be Yamoshi, who went to Universe 6. The god of destruction spoke, releasing some of his destruction energy while thinking that the being that went to his brother's universe was Yamoshi. Champa said, "Who is this Yamoshi, Beerus?" asked the god of destruction, curious about who Yamoshi was to his brother. Beerus said, "Some time ago, around the time I woke up from my sleep, I had some kind of omen or prediction that a Saiyan warrior who would face me and probably kill me. At the time I thought it was Son Goku, that the Saiyan, but recently I ended up finding out that the real Saiyan who would be able to kill me would be Yamoshi, the first Saiyan to become a god." The god of destruction spoke in a very serious way to his brother, who was amazed by such news. Champa said, "A Saiyan who will kill you? But what does this have to do with my universe? What does this Yamoshi guy want?" spoke Champa in a quick way to his brother, and soon he received the answer by the mouth of Whis. Whis said, "Yamoshi was sealed until recently, but Frieza, in search of a way to defeat the Saiyans, ended up breaking the seal that was imprisoning Yamoshi. And after leaving the seal, he went after the Saiyans who were still alive in search of knowing if they were as strong as him. So he ended up facing Broly, who is the legendary Saiyan of our universe, having the same power as Kale of his universe. And not only that, he also fought against Goku and Vegeta, who made the fusion to help Broly. And the two together not able to defeat Yamoshi, and Broly and Gogeta are as strong or even stronger than Kefla transformed into Super Saiyan 2, said the angel to his sister and to Champa, making both of them amazed at the monstrous strength from Yamoshi. Whis said, "That said, I think Yamoshi ended up discovering that in Universe 6 there were other Saiyans, and with that he must have gone there to face them. After all, he's considered the god of Saiyans, and as Yamoshi has already tested the strength of Saiyans from Universe 7, Yamoshi must have decided to see the strength of the Saiyans of Universe 6. Whis spoke in a very serious way, because if Yamoshi really is in Universe 6, he would bring a lot of destruction, and possibly the death of some Saiyans of Universe 6. Champa said, "Vados, have you warned Kaba, Kale, and Caulifla to be on red alert for a battle against someone strong at any time?" The god of destruction spoke in a way that was concerned for the strongest Saiyans in his universe, and for all the other Saiyans in Universe 6. Vados said, "Yes, sir, and I even gave Potara earrings to Kale and Caulifla, so if things get worse, they will use them and become Kefla. They'll be able to face this threat at any time, and we already have the name. He is Yamoshi, the god of Saiyans of the 7th universe," Vados said as he looked at the god of destruction of his universe. Champa said, "Great. At least if this Yamoshi guy finds them, they will be able to face him. And I hope he wins, even though there is little chance of them coming out as winners," said the god of destruction, soon letting out a heavy sigh. While the conversation between the two gods and the angels of the 6th and 7th universe took place, the battle between the Saiyans of the 6th universe against Yamoshi was taking place, and at that moment the battle had ended with Yamoshi's victory by killing Kefla. And at that moment, Vados and Champa had just felt their power. Vados said, "Mr. Champa, you felt it, didn't you?" The woman spoke with a sad look mixed with anger. Champa said, "Yes, I felt it. More than that." The god of destruction spoke, releasing his power of destruction and slamming his mother on the table, destroying her in the process. Beerus spoke. "What happened, Champa?" asked the god of destruction as he looked at his twin brother, who had a very angry expression. Champa said, Kefla's key disappeared, and that means she was killed. That was the fault of this Yamoshi guy." The god of destruction spoke further, releasing his power because of his anger. He soon, and Vados ended up feeling something else. Vados said, "Sir Champa, this energy growing is at an unbelievable speed. It can only be from," spoke the woman before being cut by Champa. Champa said, "Kaba, this power can only be his. It means that Kefla's death pushed his rage to the limits, making him go beyond his limits." Champa spoke with a huge smile on his face, as he felt Kaba's energy gradually increase by a large amount of energy. Currently on the planet Sadala, the planet of the Saiyans of the 6th universe, it was possible to see Yamoshi flying towards a large city with the objective of destroying and killing all the Saiyans on that planet. Yamoshi thought, killing a Saiyan who had as much power as that one Kefla was really a waste. Well, I killed a fusion, and when the fusion is over they will separate. Now if they would be alive or not, I don't know, but I know there may be chances high that they're still alive, thought the Saiyan as he walked towards the city at a slow pace. Yamoshi thought, I think I was overestimating that Saiyan. I was thinking that this guy Kaba would get stronger than before, seeing the death of his Saiyan friend. But I was wrong. He just kept crying like a baby, and he still thinks who can be called a Saiyan. Pathetic, thought the Yamoshi, ashamed of being of the same race as a crying Saiyan. With Kaba. While Yamoshi was lost in his thoughts about the destruction of the planet Sadala and all the Saiyans of Universe 6, in a more distant place Kaba was facing Kefla's body, which was dead. Kaba spoke. Once again, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't help that much during the Tournament of Power. I couldn't become someone strong to make my master proud, and now I couldn't help them in this fight against Yamoshi. Yamoshi is right. I am a disgrace to Saiyans, Kaba said, crying as he looked at Kefla's dead body, and then at the sky, where he started to remember all the times he failed everyone, including himself. Past times. As Kaba lamented all that he couldn't do, and all the times he couldn't fight or stand up, suddenly a memory of his past came up. A conversation between him and his master, Vegeta, after the end of the Tournament of Power. Kaba spoke. Master, you kept your word, said the Saiyan while approaching his master Vegeta. Vegeta said, Of course. I am a Saiyan, and I take my word for it very seriously. Now that our universes are alive, I'll be able to visit the planet Sadala in the future, said the Saiyan while looking at his disciple from another universe. Kaba said, I'll be looking forward to the day, my master, and when that day comes, I will show you the results of my training, said Kaba, extending his fist towards his master. But suddenly, Vegeta punches Kaba in the abdomen, making him fall to his knees. Vegeta said, You are very weak, Kaba. Not even a punch as weak as this you were able to defend or withstand. If that's all you achieved with your training, then it means you didn't train at all. Because the only thing I saw during the Tournament of Power was you being beaten, and only beating the weak, said the Saiyan in an authoritative and firm way while looking at his disciple. Kaba said, 1,000 pardons. I will start an even more rigorous training than before, and someday I will reach a power that not even you could, said the Saiyan, lifting his face and looking at his master. Vegeta said, You will never reach that level while acting like a hero. We are Saiyans and our power comes from our Saiyan instinct, and it is linked to our anger. Never forget that, Kaba. I've noticed that you always try to be calm during battles, but sometimes we have to be guided by our instincts, and when that happens, don't hold back. Release everything at once, and if you do that, you will have a strength that never thought you could have in your entire life, said the Saiyan while looking at Kaba, who was kind of confused by what his master had said, but still understood a little. Vegeta said, And one thing you should never forget is your pride as a Saiyan. Don't cry for everything they do to you, but smile, because your smile will show your enemies that you don't fear them, and don't be afraid of death, and that will make them afraid of you and your strength. That is the true essence of a Saiyan, said the Saiyan while looking at his disciple, who had gained stars in his eyes because of his master's words. Kaba said, Yes, master. I promise I will not disappoint you in the future. I will become a very strong Saiyan, and I can be proud of my own strength, and someday I'll be strong enough to defeat you," spoke Kaba, determined to overcome his master's strength. Vegeta said, "I'll be waiting for that day, Kaba. So until that day, train and become a true Saiyan," spoke Vegeta, proud of his disciple. Now back in the current time. Back to reality, it was possible to see Kaba still looking at the sky, still crying, but suddenly he stops crying and starts laughing. Soon he begins to remember everything that made him angry, and he wanted to defeat it. Yamoshi with his hands, Kefla's death, the imminent destruction of his planet, and the extinction of his entire race was approaching. When remembering all this, Kaba starts screaming, a scream formed by all his anger, accumulated for a long time. So much anger made him turn into a normal Super Saiyan, and in a few seconds he turned into Super Saiyan 2. But even so, Kaba didn't stop screaming and kept releasing his power. And when he looked again at his dead friend Kefla, that was the final point. Kaba gave a kind of bestial scream, similar to one of an Ozaru. Kaba generated a huge blast of energy that was taken to the skies, causing the entire climate of the planet to change, creating a huge storm of very violent lightning. Now with Yamoshi, a few kilometers from where Kaba was, it was possible to see Yamoshi now floating over the Saiyan city. Yamoshi was judging the strength of those Saiyans as he watched them from above. Yamoshi said, "Pathetic. Apart from those 3 Saiyans, the others barely reach 100,000 power. Not even all the Saiyans here together creating a super attack would make me feel any pain. Maybe a mosquito bite at most. If I had known this before, I wouldn't have killed that Saiyan. I should have killed the other one and made her explode in fury, increasing her power even more," said Yamoshi with a little regret, remembering that he killed Kefla, who was really strong. Yamoshi said, "Well, whatever now. It's about time these Saiyans disappeared at once, as I refuse that these beings share the same race as me," said Yamoshi, raising his hand and starting to generate a key sphere in his hands. But before Yamoshi finished generating his attack and playing against the city, he ended up feeling an enormous power appearing in the place where he had previously faced the Saiyans that he considered to be truly strong. Yamoshi said, "What is that?" said the Saiyan, soon shooting the key sphere that was in his hand to another place other than the city. And he launched his key attack. It ended up destroying a mountain closer to the city. Yamoshi started to look at that place from afar and saw the energy was coming from a Saiyan. He was amazed when a huge explosion of energy happened, making the sky glow golden, and then the sky began to generate golden clouds that began to surround the explosion site that had created a pillar of golden energy. An energy that soon Yamoshi could identify whose it was, making him smile at the same time. Yamoshi said, "This power, I remember it. And I remember when I used the ritual to have it, and that brat got this power all by himself. I was right in thinking he had so much potential. Finally, I can face someone who has the power of a Super Saiyan God," said the Saiyan while looking at the pillar of golden energy that was slowly disappearing. Yamoshi said, "There are 2 ways to conquer the Super Saiyan God form. The first by doing the Saiyan rituals, and the second is by facing someone with divine power. I forced Kaba to unleash his divine power with Saiyan cells, and this kid really managed to become a god the hard way," said the Saiyajin, very excited about the possibility of facing someone who has the same power as him. While Yamoshi was happy to know that he would face someone who has the divine power like him, he didn't even notice when a red lightning came towards him at high speed. And when he realized it, it was too late, because he ended up receiving a blow in his jaw, breaking it immediately, and causing the Saiyan to fly for several kilometers away from the city. Something that made Yamoshi cross several mountains in sequence, until he created a crater when he fell in a place far away from the Saiyan city. Yamoshi thought, "What the fuck is this? I know that the divine form gives a huge increase in power and physical attributes to the warrior who uses it, but that was already completed ridiculously strong," thought the Saiyan, trying to get out of the crater, because all the bones in his body were broken and his jaw had been completely broken. Quickly, Yamoshi comes out of the crater and looks in front of him, and there he sees Kaba, standing with red hair and eyes with an aura of intense flames around him, being that the divine form of the Saiyans, and he had a very different look from before. Kaba said, "I hope your regeneration is very fast, as I will break every bone in your body, and after they regenerate, I will break your bones again," said the Saiyan in an arrogant and proud way. Before Yamoshi could say anything, Kaba punched the air that ended up creating an impact wave so strong that it threw Yamoshi against a mountain in such a way that the mountains around it were completely destroyed. Kaba said, "Yamoshi, today will be the day that the god of the Saiyans will have its definitive end. Today will be the day of its death by my hands," spoke Kaba, clenching his fist and yelling at Yamoshi, who even being in such a broken state gave him a smile. So guys, with that we come to the end of another video today. So for those who like the content on this channel, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to leave your comment, which is very important for the channel. So I'll see you in the next video, guys. Goodbye.